Good evening, hello and welcome to the final round of Southburn District Wheelers Friday Frenzy, round 10. And what a cracker we have for you tonight. Tonbridge to Toys Hill. It says 20 kilometers, it says 335 meters, but all those 335 meters are in the final climb up Toys Hill, which is a notorious climb for anybody who rides south of London in Kent. So here's the route. Starts off at Tonbridge, just north of Tunbridge Wells, goes through Lee there, Chiddingstone Causeway, some lovely countryside around there, something I ride very often. There's Bow Beach Reservoir on the right, Four Elms, pretty little town, then you turn right and then the pain begins all the way up Toys Hill. Maximum 15% grade, it's about 2.5 kilometers long, 6%, 7% average, but about 500 of those meters are over 10% with a maximum of 14. So it is tough, and the toughest bits are at the end. It will be a real test for all our riders tonight. So this, as I said, is round 10 of the series, which is the final round. We'll see in a minute who we have on the line, but certainly Wout Hartveld is the series leader, and I think has a pretty unchallengeable position. It's a best of 7 series, so there's not going to be dramatic changes, but there could be some battles down below. Nick Greenhout is in second place, probably not going to overtake Wout, and he's probably safe in second place. Then we've got John Beams in third place, who's only 20 points behind Nick. So to give you an idea, 100 points for the win, and then 95, 90, 85, 80. So, you know, a difference of 5 or 6 places and a win for John, who is an excellent climber. If he's here tonight, I haven't even looked, but could be the difference. So there we've got a few in the Zoom room to see Payne on camera. So there's Nick, we were just talking about there, always looks very calm, does a very slow cadence on his spin bike. Warren Gardner there is in fifth place, and that's another interesting battle. He is only a few points behind Flemming Bach, very strong racer from Denmark. Warren has the, thanks away from Nick, Warren has the Southburn District Wheelers pretty much sewn up, and here we're about to start now. So we're going to, we'll say more as we go along. So we'll watch this start. As always, everybody in the red as we go away, but often with something that has a big climb in it, people very sensibly have a nice easy start, knowing that the real test is still to come. And there's not that much point trying to attack or get away at this point, because you've got quite a lot of climbing. And if you're a good climber, you can make up those meters very, very quickly. So save the legs and keep it for the end is generally the thing. There's Nick on the Buffalo bike. The Buffalo bike was awarded to those who managed to climb the height of Everest. You've all, I suppose, heard of Everesting. So those who managed to virtually climb Everest over, there he is. He does have a very upright position on his trainer bike anyway. So maybe the Buffalo bike sort of looks a bit like it would be for Nick. Real feel there. But yeah, so the Buffalo bike for everybody who made the Everesting over January, and there is some. I think I looked it up earlier. Actually, I think I saw somebody had done Toys Hill 59 times. I think to do Everesting. So we're only doing it once tonight. But well done, Nick, for getting the bike. I've got mine, but I haven't actually pulled it up yet. There's Warren putting in some early effort. That's an interesting move from Warren. Definitely got Payne face going there, and we're only we're only 1 kilometer into the race. Maybe Warren is making an effort to get away and get a lead. I mean, that is sometimes a good tactic. It's often a tactic that's used by sprinters or people who aren't that good. Get a bit of a lead, and then you can take it at your own pace. You don't have to worry about following anybody's wheels, and if they catch you, then you gradually drift back through the pack rather than being shelled out immediately. So maybe that's Warren's tactic tonight. We'll see. I don't think we've seen Warren climb that much, certainly in the last few weeks, the races I've been calling. So maybe this is early tactic. And The Southern District Wheelers jerseys mobbing to the front here. Maybe this is another tactic. So that red, black and yellow jersey is Southern District Wheelers, who put on this series, courtesy of Simon Miller. And this is one of their local routes. They're based, Southbridge just north, so they're based around Royal Tunbridge Wells. So this would be a route that they know very well, and I imagine that a lot of their club rides will go up Toys. So they will be certainly trying to put in a good show here, and they will know the pain that is to come on Toys. It's sort of part of Toys, part of a ridge. There's sort of a ridge south of London. So anytime you head out from South, so I'm in South London myself, and so for me to go anywhere to the South Downs, Downs, for those who aren't familiar with the English term, is what we call hills, confusingly. They do have downs, they have ups as well. So the South Downs is what Toys is part of. It's a sort of ridge that goes across the whole of the south, just south of London. So to get out to Tunbridge Wells in places like that in Surrey and Kent, anyone coming from where I am in South London has to go over that ridge and of course come back over it on the way home. But tomorrow I'm planning to do a ride down to Brighton and back through Ashdown Forest, and I will be coming back over Ide Hill, which is right next to Toys, not quite as nasty. So we're seeing the Southborough Wheelers still on the front here. Tom Moss, who's been doing very well in some of the races. He's, I think, just outside the top 10, but is certainly up there in the internal competition for Southborough. Who have we got there? Christophe Contant, with the French flag there for Pedlars. Warren's still putting in a lot of effort on the front. He is really trying to push this race along. I'm wondering if he's doing it for himself or whether he's doing it for somebody else, but he's putting in some big effort early on in this race. Who do you see there? Daniel Cadiz with the Chilean flag. You might just be able to pick out there. Daniel is also a very, very strong rider and an excellent climber. No surprise that Daniel has been attracted to tonight, so watch out for him, anybody who wants to do well in this race. I've seen Daniel go up some very, very steep climbs. There's Chris Duffy with an assistant to hand up bottles. So that's something we don't always see. So yeah, great to have the team, the director sportif along watching the broadcast. So Chris Duffy there. Yep, we picked out Chris. There he is, up in that front group. Yep, doing very nicely there, keeping up the front. He's gone to the front. Well done, Chris. Chris also has the Southern District Wheelers jersey on in the virtual life. Got the Scottish jersey, but I'm assuming that Chris is a Scottish, not displaced person, but is Scottish and living down south, and is riding with Southern District Wheelers. So Chris Duffy there, Bees, I think, is one of the sort of sub-teams within Southern District Wheelers in some of their time trials. There's Casper Hedderdam also on the Buffalo bike, because in RGT there is no penalty for bike type. So even though it looks very upright and heavy and clunky, it doesn't cause any sort of penalty in the game. So Casper going along nicely at sort of 300-ish watts. Nice steady tempo pace for Casper, who's a very strong rider. Here we have Roy, and I'm trying to remember what his first name is, but I cannot. I know I've come up with him in previous races. Who have we got there? Tom Moss, just picking out some names. Joris Shepherd's there, very strong rider. He'll be doing well on the climb. Clovis Roy, thank you, Damon. Yes. How could I not remember that one? I see Keith from OTR coming up, who also rides with South District Wheelers, although he lives in Spain. So Keith is a very light and powerful rider. He will do well. There he is there in the middle of your screen there. Keith OTR. He will be going up. Alex Pledger there lurking up the back there with the German flag, another extremely strong rider. So we've got a slightly smaller than we've had in the past week, but still 58 riders joining the line, and very, very strong and high quality team. We don't seem to have many of the Danes. So we've got Casper. I haven't seen Fleming or or Rasmus Feldballer, who's been doing very well in some of the races too. But we'll see. Maybe I just haven't seen them on. Oh yes, I do see Fleming. I saw his name pop up there. So Fleming just doing the right thing for this point of the race, lurking in the bunch, not doing too much work, keeping it quiet, and waiting for the real effort to come. So there's a message from Enric Mard there. Come on pedalers, work together and catch Rasmus. Yeah, Rasmus has done very well in some of these races with some beautifully timed attacks. Trying to see where he is overall. I don't think he's done all that many races, which means he's not so high in the overall standings. But he has done very well in some of the races. We've seen some really great attacking races in the last few weeks. Perfectly timed, really good tactical racing. Come on, React e-cycling team, Belgian guys. So yeah, well, I haven't seen Wout's name here, and React cycling team up the front with Arven Horenbeek, Black Red. Yeah, okay, React. I haven't picked them out. I'll have to look at them. Arven Horenbeek, but we'll try and find his jersey or the jerseys of the React e-cycling team from Belgium. Yeah, there's Alec Pledger on the front. So we've got okay, so this is a second group here from about 33 back to 38. So these riders, have been dropped. It looks like there might be somebody in between, but we see the big blob up the front is that front group, which probably still has about 30 riders. Then we've got this group here with Daniel Neugebauer, a couple of 2 or 3 Southwood District wheelers here. Daniel Neugebauer, who has been, he's sixth in the overall standing. So I'm surprised Daniel isn't up in the front of the group. And he's often joined us on Zoomcam, actually. So we're not having the pleasure of seeing Daniel tonight. But Daniel there in that group in the sort of low 30s places. There's somebody just behind that. So we're going back through the field now. From Lewis, is that the E-React cycling team? I think that might be the jersey that we were talking about just before. Is that a Colombian or Venezuelan flag? I can't tell, but that's Berube. It's Howden with the UK flag there. So we've got a bit spread out here, riders who haven't got anybody else to ride with, which is never a good thing. Always good if you can get in a group. There we've got Wendy Wonderwheels from OTR. One of our women riders, one of the female riders who's been in most of these races and doing very well. So we're down into 41, 42. Rider Nicholas also with E-React. So that seems to be a big team that have made a good showing tonight. Rice from SDW, Southern District Wheelers. You see the jersey there. And going back further, Heron, Venta, Poliaro, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce that one. Miss Niski. Yeah, that's the combination of people using abbreviations and names that you're just not even sure where they come from, which makes it hard. So we have Mela there in 51 from Belgium. Sang looks like a female rider in 52. Paulina Leo, the Spanish rider there. Okay, so we're going to have some multiple. So Alex still sitting on the front there. Chase that's further back. So this group in the bottom left, I think, is the Chase group. So we've got that front group, which is still fairly large. I think probably about 25 or 30 riders still. There's a Chase group behind them in the sort of low 30s. There seems to be a few people in between, but this group is pretty much staying together. So, oh wow, Chris has got a cheer squad. That's fantastic. I hope they're listening to the. I hope they're watching the broadcast. They're giving us a wave. Give us an even bigger wave, everybody. That's great to see everybody cheering Chris along. Well done, Chris, kids, family, everybody. Well done. I'm not sure that I'd like anybody to watch me suffering on the bike, but that's great that they're coming along and watching Chris in his garage. So come on, kids, give you that a big wave. I assume it's his kids. Could be friends, but that's great to have some offline support for the online racing. Well done. So by South, I'm going to go. So this is the chase group now. This is that group that we saw before, and even that's breaking up a bit. Somebody looks to have dropped off very quickly there. Losing a bit of contact there with that group. We're back up with the front now. There's Warren still working hard. There's the Oris Shephers with Ratio Racing. And he will be looking forward, I think, as much as anyone can do to this climb. Yeah, what are we doing there? About yeah, so they're just tapping along really for these guys, 250 to 300 watts. I know if you're not a very strong rider, tapping along at 250 to 300 watts sounds like it's impossible. But there's Alex putting in a little bit of effort to go up the front, 350, 400. But they won't be doing too much at this point. So yeah, 250, 300 watts. Obviously, it depends on your weight, but on this flat, you can keep in the draft, keep a nice steady pace. And just tap along, get a bit of recovery, get the heart rate down. There's Casper again on the Buffalo bike. Of course, the Buffalo bike is part of World Bicycle Relief. I think I'm getting that right. Which are bikes that, and this was what the Everesting was supporting through RGT. They're bikes, cheap and easily made bikes that are given to communities. I think mainly in Africa. So that they can get around, so that they can, people can get to appointments, they can get to places, they can carry things. It's obviously a much more efficient and easily maintained. That's the whole idea of the bikes. They're simple, easily maintained, and can be used to help people in remote communities. So there we see Rasmus. So Rasmus is definitely here then. So we do have some of the Danes ready to strike. So Rasmus making sure he stays up the front, bottom left. So what have we got there? Yuri Gusarov. So that's chasing in between. I think he was 20 something. So we've got about 20 something in this. It looks like about 20 in this front group. Maybe a few have dropped off, and there's definitely a bit of a gap now to the chase groups. So this group looks to be definitely away. They're over halfway through now, 9 kilometers left, but they will be, well, not even the hardest 9 kilometers. The hardest is going to be the final 2.5 kilometers. It's just a summit finish. It will go uphill for the final 2.5 kilometers, and that will be, we've got the live leaderboard there. So Clovis Roy, Alex Pledger, Warren Gardner, Francois Lambert, Joris Shephers, Vigneault, Feldal, Baggy from Southroad. And there's Chris Duffy and with his cheer squad and Gusarov. So Gusarov has now dropped back into this little chase group here in sort of 24th to 27th position that has dropped off the front. They're not going to catch the leaders now, but they will have their own little mini race. That's always one of the fun things about these online races. So yeah, give us. Chris has his own fan club. If we've seen a few shouts coming on Facebook, so if you're watching on ZMS live stream, give us a shout, say hello, let us know you're there, and tell us either who you think will win or who you would like to win. If they're not the same thing, tell us both. Chris there's definitely suffering. There's no lack of effort from Chris. He's putting in effort there to keep in that group and make sure that he's well placed when they get to that climb. You're always fighting for your position in these races. So we see Nick there out of the saddle, grinding a pretty low gear, but as we know, he likes to do that. Warren definitely sweating. He's got the towel out. He's been with the pain face from the very beginning, so he's really not leaving anything in the well, we say not leaving anything on the road. What do you say? Not leaving anything on the mat. We'll be leaving puddles of water, puddles of sweat on the mat, leaving everything on the mat tonight. So Nick there, going along. He's in the red there, so it looks like, oh yeah, we had a little bit of a climb there, a little bit of a lump. So that was why Nick was out of the saddle there, and also because Rasmus has made a little bit of a break. Rasmus is as we've seen, is a bit of a master of the perfectly timed tactical attack. I'm not sure that this would be one because he hasn't got a long flat stretch now for another 3 or 4 kilometers until we get to the climb. I think if I remember sort of the route correctly, they'll be going roughly now through sort of Chiddingstone, probably past Chiddingstone to Bow Beach Reservoir, and then they go along and make a sort of sharp right-hand turn to go up the road to Toys Hill. So here's sort of, I think this is a group 3 on the road. We had that other group that had Chris Duffy in it with the low 20s. So this is the group further back in sort of high 20s, low 30s. And with Stuart Grady and who else was there? Daniel Neugebauer. Yep, I see there. So this is a sort of third group on the road. But the groups will break up a lot when we get to the climb. It's pretty much everyone for themselves when we get to the climb. Meanwhile, back on the front, Rasmus has certainly kept that effort going. Here we go, Antoine. Hello, Antoine. Nice to hear from you. Let's go, Joel. Now, which is Joel? You're going to have to give us a clue as to a last name there. But let's go, Joel from Antoine. So yeah, Rasmus made a little bit of an effort. He's got only 20-30 meters. I don't know that will stick for the rest of the race, but Rasmus is putting in a lot of effort there, and it looks like somebody's. I mean, what it can do is break up a bit of the bunch as people think, oh, I don't want to let him go, I better go and chase, and that makes them put in an effort. And this, I think, Joel Vigneault, thank you, yes. So that's, you've got Antoine's support there, Joel. RGT France on the end of his name there. Big French contingent, and Antoine Renault is one of the main organisers of some of the races. Does Le Classique Jeudi, I believe, and other races that are, of course, open to everybody, and a lot of people do them. But certainly done a lot in building up the French contingent on RGT. It's funny how you get that. I mean, the Danes are another one. Certainly, Fleming Bach was one of the first to come across to RGT, and then goes and spreads by word of mouth and other riders, and suddenly you get a whole big group. So Rasmus is definitely. I mean, it's not going out too much. It's maybe it's gone up to 100 meters now. So actually, it is going out, yeah, Rasmus is definitely making an effort to get to the climb with a decent gap. So that's an interesting tactic. Who am I to question Rasmus's tactics? He's been doing brilliantly in these races, and he absolutely knows what he's doing, and he knows what he can do. So well done, Rasmus. If you can keep this going and keep that lead going up Toys Hill, then big chapeau to you. So the group still seems to be staying together behind. A few efforts on the red. I don't think they're making a serious chase. Maybe a couple of people are trying to get off the front or up the speed of the group is the best way to do it. But no serious chase there. There's Daniel just slipping off the back of that little group as you come over a little bump there of sort of 6-7%. Daniel obviously feeling maybe feeling it in his legs. Who knows? We don't know. We never know what people have been doing before they come to these races. Sometimes people just treat the races as a bit of a training exercise. So there we had Bysouth and Benetto just coming up to that little lump. Louis in the Hube jersey there. Howden not far behind him. So we're going down into the 40s now. Heron. So there's a little, guys, get together, get on each other's wheel and help yourselves until you get to the thing. And Wendy, keep on that. Don't lose that wheel, Wendy. Yep, she's putting in the effort there. You can see her there getting back into the draft. Nicely done, Wendy. Tanserel. So little gaps here, not big gaps, but little gaps between these riders at the back. Those groups were together before. There's Nisinski and Barnaby in 45 and 44 and 45. Rice from South from District Wheelers just going past them there. So it looks like they're riding nicely together. And here's that group. Alex Pledger has come back to that group. Bit surprised about that. Alex is an extremely strong rider. Again, maybe he's not going for it. And there's Van Horenbeek, who we saw getting a shout out before in 21st. So he's ahead of this group. So I think this group starts at 22 with Gustavo, or is it? No, I think it does start at Horenbeek. So he's in this group there. There's Simon Miller. Simon, give us a wave if you're listening. Simon is the creator of all these rides and has done a lot to promote RGT among South African District Wheelers Club. Has done a great job of getting all his club mates to join the races and promote it. Initially, I think as a way of getting people together during the various COVID lockdowns that we had, but obviously they've kept doing it, which was great to see. Here's Rasmus still out the front, still keeping that lead going. I think it's gone up a little bit. Again, apologies that I can't read those very small numbers on screen, but I think, oh, there we go. Thank you. It's gone up to 150 meters. So he's extending that lead slowly, but extending. See, everyone else is still together behind him. Don't know quite how big that group is, but it's probably, well, there's certainly at least 10 riders in it. So the group is still together. They're not panicking. They don't seem to be trying to chase him down. There's Casper and Clovis Roy making a little bit of an effort now, I think. So they've got a bit of a 30-meter gap. Maybe they figure, well, we've got about a kilometer. Well, Rasmus has got a kilometer to go until the climb. These guys have got another 150 meters. So maybe now is the time that they think, well, let's make a bit of an effort and hit that climb ahead of everybody else. So Clovis and Casper there going to the red. We're seeing some decent numbers there, 5 and 6 watts per kilo. Francis Lambert and Keith behind them. Keith will be wanting the group. He won't be putting, because he hasn't got the big watts himself, but Keith will be wanting the group to keep that gap small so that he can do as well as he can going up the climb. That's one of the things you have to do when you're a lighter rider. You can't put in those big watts on the flat. You've got to rely on other people to close the gaps. So Rasmus now extends his lead to over 200 meters as we check on some of the riders in the bottom left there further back. Warren still putting in big effort there. Chris still tapping away to stay with his group, and we're very close now. So Rasmus at 2.66 kilometers to go. He'll just be starting to very soon to start ramping up. Yep, you can see the slopes are already at 5%, and it's only going to go up from there. So Rasmus is now on the lower parts of Toys Hill. It sort of gradually ramps up. There's a couple of little sharper bits in the middle, but the worst part is really towards the end. So Rasmus now on that climb, he takes a 200-meter lead into the climb. That'll go down very rapidly just because of the way that the relative speed works. But he had about 200 meters as he hit that climb. So he's got 200 meters lead, and he's got just over 2 kilometers to go. So 10%. That's going to be interesting to see whether they can chase him down. I mean, he is an extremely strong rider. I think everybody will be, so it was 200 meters back to Clovis and Casper, and then another 80 meters. Honestly, I think these guys will be hard pushed to close that gap on Rasmus. I mean, everything is relative. You know, if he's doing 4 or 5 watts per kilo and they want to close a 200 meter gap, then they've got to be doing 5, 6 watts per kilo. There are a few guys who are capable of doing it, so let's see whether they're prepared to make that effort. Otherwise, it's Rasmus's to lose. So Nick there. Nick is a very good sprinter. I mean, he's a very strong rider all round, but I think you would say sprinting is probably his preference to climbing, but he'll certainly be putting in a good effort on this climb. There we have Joel Vigneault moving up a bit. Warren, can't see Warren on the screen, but we can see him, well, we had some on the RGT screen, but we see him in the Zoom cam. Up there he is. Yep, still up there in the head of this chasing bunch. So he'll be keeping going. He's drifting back a little bit. He'll be wanting to stay with this group a little bit longer, having made all those early efforts, but already starting to slip down the back of the wheels, and how very quickly that gap goes once you start to slip back. I mean, that was despite still doing 350, 360 watts, but now that we've hit the climb proper, These riders are really putting in some big watts. So Warren there slipping out the back, but he'll be very highly placed. Didn't see where Fleming, his closest rival, was. If Fleming is still with that front group, then that could be interesting. Yep, Fleming is. See him there in ninth. So Warren might miss his chance to overtake Fleming in the standings. So there we have Clovis, 100 meters, little over 100 meters now to Rasmus. He's closed down some of that gap, but the distance is running out, and we're starting to hit the steepest part. As you see there, it's going up 8%, 9%. It should go there 11%. It will go up as high as 14, 15% in parts. So Rasmus is not dropping. Oh, Casper seemed to have had a problem there, I think. Was it? Oh, no, maybe not. Just seemed to be going much slower than he was before and going to the side, which is usually a sign that the power has stopped. But he's coming back in now, but maybe he's decided to temper his effort for a little while, because he's definitely letting that group go past him. So Rasmus now comes to the Flamme Rouge, the red kite, the 1 kilometre to go banner, with a lead of over 100 metres, and I really don't see them catching 100 metres on Rasmus in just a kilometre, not on these steep slopes, and not with Rasmus clearly feeling strong. Clovis now has a bit of a gap of 50, 60 metres back to Daniel Cadiz. I did say Daniel was a very good climber, but Clovis has got the jump in him now. He's got Rasmus ahead of him. You can see Rasmus, and Daniel there is there with Christophe Contant. So we've got groups are split up a bit. They can see Clovis ahead of them. There's Joris Scheppers in 5th. So little gaps. Clovis, I really don't see him making up that gap on Rasmus, but I'm sure he'll give it his best shot. So we're back now to 10th. We saw Casper there just ahead of there, easing right back. O'Malley there in 10th. There's Fleming in 11th. And that group has really split up on these tough climbs. So Rasmus there going along at sort of 300, 350 watts, keeping a decent tempo, but and occasionally going to the red, but not killing it. So we're going, if you keep it on the top of the screen, Rasmus now has 600, just over 650 meters to go. And that gap is not coming down. It's still over 100 meters, I think. So pretty sure Rasmus is going to get away with this. So there you go. As I said, Rasmus is just tactically really good. He knows exactly when to attack, and he knows exactly, more importantly, he knows exactly what he can hold for the rest of the race. And he's done it again. He's had some really good efforts in some of these races. So well done to Rasmus. And yeah, who's that? Yep, there's Rasmus. Rasmus is still a little bit to go, but maybe a few hundred meters, but he'll be nearing the end of the climb. There's Clovis, hitting 12.8, 13% as we come up on these final 500 meters. That's sort of the worst part of the climb. Actually, the worst part of Toys Hill, as opposed to nearby Ide Hill, is that Ide Hill has a cafe at the top. Toys Hill doesn't. It does have a lovely descent down to the A20, A25, A21, I can't remember, but down to Westerham and Braested. And then you've got another little climb to go if you're going my way into South London. So Rasmus now just about 9%. It'll very quickly go down. He's just about to crest this final part of the climb, and then he has a couple of hundred meters of relative flat to go, and they certainly won't be catching him at this point. So well done to Rasmus. Another brilliant tactical move, another perfectly timed effort. 200 meters to go, still at 5%, but it will flatten out very quickly in the last sort of 100, 150 meters. So not going to be caught now. Clovis still keeps his gap behind, but I think there's been some changes behind there. So yeah, here you go, 100 meters. There was a pub at the top of Toys Hill, but I'm pretty sure it's closed down now. It certainly has been closed every time I've gone past. So there we go, flattening out, nice and green, coast over, arms in the air, Well done, Rasmus, taking the victory in the final race of Friday Frenzy. And it's been great to watch Rasmus and everybody in these races. So Clovis there has held on to second place. Not enough to overtake Rasmus, but that would have been an extraordinary effort to overtake him, but he'll be keeping his second place as he powers across the line there, leaving nothing to chance. And Nick there has put in a good effort to come in third, just going past Daniel and Christoph. So well done, Nick. Might be because I said that he preferred sprinting than climbing, just to prove me wrong. There's Joris Scheppers from Rassia Racing. Oh, is he going to be pipped on the line? No, I think not. I think he just managed to hold on ahead of Janssens there. A bit of Belgian rivalry, perhaps, crossing the line, but that was a close finish. Keith from OTR there finishing in 8th, and O'Malley there in 9th. Casper, who was putting in some early efforts, but eased off quite a lot about halfway up that slope. So Casper headed on there, will be celebrating, I'm sure, another Danish victory as he crosses the line in the on the Buffalo bike and with the WBR jersey on in 10th place. And his Fleming ECKD is the abbreviation that's used by the Danish cycling group on RGT, who do some of their own races. So Fleming will come across in 11th, and as I said, Fleming was, I'm just looking it up, yeah, he was only 7 points ahead of Warren, but obviously he will consolidate that place today. And there we see Warren, in fact, coming across. So he wasn't actually, so he's only actually 1 place behind Fleming. So that was a good effort from Warren to keep that going up the climb, but not unfortunately enough to turn around and claim 4th spot from Fleming. But well done, Warren, who will take the Southern District Wheelers internal competition and bragging rights to all his club mates. That's a fantastic effort from Warren. There's Phil, I think, Riley from Southern District Wheelers. I think Phil is the one who does all the results and collation and others. Southborough ride there, Baggy crossing the line. Yeah, they should, well, they'll be spread out as we come up here. So we're seeing the list being updated. We're down to 15 now on your right there, as we have Francois Lambert there crossing the line. I'm saying Lambert, I'm assuming that I'm pretty sure it's French Canadian. I might be wrong there. Could be Frank Lambert, as far as I know. But I'm going to take a guess with French Canadian. Who was that? Maguire there. There's Pledger putting in a big effort. Yeah, Alex has got the power. I think he just decided to sit back a bit tonight for various reasons. Maybe he's racing over the weekend. Who knows? But Alex definitely has the power and will finish in 20th spot ahead of Gusarov there. That was that little group that was together. Well, there's Mike Aid, who we didn't see a lot of during the event, but another good strong rider, often up there. He's also got a good sprint on him, one to watch in any of the flatter sprinty races, but doing well to take 22nd spot tonight up Toizel. There's Ben Horenbeek from Belgium in the E-React cycling kit. Harry Smits there. El Van Rieth. C, I guess, is the denoting the Masters category that he would be in. So it starts at most of the organisers use the system of starting at 40 and going in 5-year age bands. So 40 to 44 is A, and so on. So C would be 50 to 54. So well done to Van Rieth there, coming up in 25th place. Looks like Duffy. Oh, I was just going to say, I just looked back and saw a few meters to Duffy, and great effort there. I wish we could have seen that on, we're going to see him on Zoom cam. Yes, there we go. An all-out effort to finish with. Big cheer, I hope, from the support team for Chris. Yay, well done. Did I see a sponge there? Is he getting sponged down? That takes family support to new levels. Barube there in 27th, and Stuart O'Grady in 28th, I think. Also a C rider. Wow, I'm very impressed, Chris Duffy, at the level of support that you have from your family. That's it's always great to have people supporting your hobby. And cycling, it takes a lot of time, especially when you've got a family with kids. So I guess they appreciate that's one of the great things about indoor riding, that it doesn't take you out for quite so long, and you're around if anything happens at home, and it's easy enough to get involved. So there's Simon Miller there in 29th. Yay, away from Simon. I'm sure he'll be relieved that the series has finished, and very happy. You should be very proud of what a great series it's been, how many people have come along and taken part. And no doubt there will be more. I should have checked with him before to whether he wanted me to tell whether or not, but I'm sure there will be more riding and more racing from Simon and Southern District Wheelers. As I said, they've developed a really, really strong presence and participation on RGT. So we look forward to more of their racing. Here's Christine there in the black RGT kit. Hadn't noticed any other female riders crossing, so well done, Christine. I think that might make her the first female rider on the night. Here's Daniel Neugebauer in Peddler's jersey tonight. So I'm pretty sure Daniel is with Southern District Wheelers, but he's obviously chosen to ride the Peddler's jersey. I mean, sometimes I do this myself. If you might be riding in another competition like the TTT competitions or so on, or some of the competitions that have team events, and you put on the other team jersey and then you forget to change it before you get on. So I certainly do that all the time. Not that I'm formally part of one of the teams. I do a bit of organising with OTR. I do a bit of TTT with 3R, and some of the rides. Didn't see any of the guys from my 3R team tonight. Evan Oystenson, Tim Cook, Rob Miller, Aussie King. But they're obviously having a night off as well. So Daniel Neugebauer there, crossing the line in 33rd place, and another Southern District Wheelers rider. What a great turnout from Southern District Wheelers. Great to see so many of them getting on and supporting RGT, but supporting their own events on a Friday night. I wonder when Southern District Wheelers has them. Most clubs in Britain tend to have their main club rides on a Sunday, but quite a few will have rides on a Saturday as well. So, just being overtaken there by Mako, a bit of a French surprise attack there, but Weston's going to fight back. Oh, well done. He's not taking that. He's fighting back and making sure that he claims the honour of 34th place over 35th. Well done. It's all a place, isn't it? It doesn't matter if it's 34th or 3rd. You've got to fight for your place. So well done, Weston, for not giving up, not taking that surprise attack on the line there. Howden now in 36, putting in some red numbers there as he comes up. Because I'm sure those of you familiar with RGT won't need explanation, but those who aren't, the red numbers mean that it's based on your level. It's your FTP, which is roughly speaking your hour's best power, and so it's different for everybody depending on what your FTP is and how many watts per kilo you're putting out to go into the red. But Howden there crossing over. We've got Heron here with a Jamaican flag. Don't see many of those on RGT, and will be coming up in 37th place, also putting in. It's always good to see. You've got to put in a bit of an effort as you cross the line, even if there's nobody there to watch you virtually. Well, we are watching virtually, so that's why you've got to put in a bit of an effort. But got to put in a bit of effort as you cross over. So Heron there, well done. Oh, Wendy getting rolled on the line by a rider there. That's not very gentlemanly, but I guess, it's all fair. So Wendy there in 39th place, I think is the second female rider that we've seen go across. Apologies if I've missed any others. Benedetto there in 40th. So in this competition, O is over. So rather than have the normal masters category, like the 5-year age bands, I think Simon's been running it that O is basically over 45. Don't quote me on that, but so it means it's effectively a masters category within there. In fact, if I'm just having a quick look to see whether I can work out whether I can see who is leading that competition. Oh yeah, over 45. So Nick has taken the over 45s. And isn't that scary that Nick is over 45 and rides that well? Nick has taken the over 45s competition ahead of Fleming Bark, and Warren was third in the over 45s, followed by Keith Atchison. So well done, you guys, for doing really well overall, and taking the Masters competition. The O denoting over 45. Did I miss him? No, Benetto. No. So we've got Barnaby coming up, and I'm going to try and also have a look to see if I can work out. There's the Southern District Wheelers results. There's Warren, Tom Moss, and Keith Atchison in third place, ahead of Philip Rowley, and Simon Miller. And I'm looking to see if I can find the women's results. So they're all on RGTDB, and of course, if you want to check individual results from any of the races or the series overall, here we go. I'm going further down. Yep, there was a blank page. Wendy Gallagher looks like she's taken the women's competition. Didn't notice her tonight, as we're seeing a couple of riders now coming in 43rd, 42nd and 43rd, Tanserel and Rice from Southern District Wheelers. How's that women's going? So Wendy Gallagher, I think is that Wendy Wonderwheels? I'm pretty sure that is Wendy Wonderwheels. So, never quite sure when people have different things. So Wendy Gallagher, that will be the W Wonderwheels that you saw crossing the line earlier. So she has taken the women's competition with 665 points. That's the 7th qualifying, ahead of Lucy Hearn and Julia Bart, rounding out the podium there with 5:30 and 5:15. Again, didn't see them tonight. And Christine, that must be the Christine that we saw earlier on 4.9. She was on 4.95 coming into this, and possibly was the first female rider, as Miss Businski crosses the line there in 44th. Possibly Christine may have picked up some extra points because it's best of. So if she took the women's win tonight, that could be. She was 20 points behind Julia Bart in third. And by the look of it, Julia, she's not going to pick up anything else. So, but I think. Yeah, so we'll see. It could be that Christine has catapulted up onto the podium there in the women's competition, but pretty sure Wendy Wonderwheels will have taken it. She had a very big lead going into that, not going to be overtaken. And Linda Van Dyke, who was seen in some of the earlier races on the Friday Frenzy. So we've got Louis here, Belgian flag, lots of Belgian riders, a whole bunch of Belgians in a row there. Was that Nicholas? I think is up ahead. I think I may have missed him crossing. I've missed a few people, so apologies there to Pagliaro, Nicholas, and now Louis and Melford there, another Belgian rider. Trio of Belgians, Maillard, sorry. Nicholas, Lewis and Maillard, a trio of Belgians in a row there. So here's Maillard crawling up that last few hundred meters, and it's difficult, and at this point you've got a good gap, so there's no point in killing it, but hopefully we'll put in a bit of an effort to make sure he crosses the line in suitable style. You've always got to make sure you do that. So we're nearly at the end there. We'll wait for there. It looks like we've got people not too far back, so given it's the last week, we'll make sure we keep everybody here. Polina Leo. I do study Spanish. I should be able to pronounce that probably better than I am doing, but it's trying to work up one out. Is 51st place there with I think a kilometre to go. So so this is the last of this series of Friday Frenzy, but I'm sure there will be more to come, as we see a fantastic aerial shot there of Toys Hill, and this is one of the places where it sort of does look like that. If you ever do get a chance to ride Toys Hill, in many ways it's actually more green than what we're seeing here. It has, as you see very often in the south of in Surrey and Kent and the South Downs, sort of banked. The road is a single track road, and it has banks at the side. It's sort of cut into the hill, and there'll be Ward Maynard giving us a bit of a wave there. Hey Ward, keep going. Not much further to go now. 145 meters, nearly there. It has these beautiful, sort of like going through, not a tunnel. Well, it is sort of like a tunnel, because you've got the banks at the side, on either side, that are usually covered in grass and vines, and sometimes in spring and summer you get bluebells and lovely flowers, and then you've got the trees. Because the road's so narrow, the trees tend to grow over the top of the road, and you get this sort of green tunnel effect as you go up the hills. Obviously when you're racing you don't get time to appreciate it, but I love riding around Surrey and the South Downs, and Toys is a good example of the sort of beautiful green scenery that you get when you're riding in this part of the world. It's absolutely, you get a lovely winter's day, it's gorgeous, but it's at its best in spring, usually, when it's just so green. I particularly appreciated it, having been riding out in Dubai and living out in Dubai, when I used to come back here and go for a ride, and it was certainly a nice contrast from the sand and the desert to come back to the South Downs. It's a beautiful part of the world if you ever get a chance to ride here, and I know we have people from RGT all over the world, but I've certainly met up with a lot of people that I know through online, some of it on online forums, some of it through Strava and clubs. It's one of the great things about the cycling community. They're always ready to help people out. In fact, next week I'm going to Saudi Arabia, and I've reached out to a few people there, and hopefully I'll be able to get in contact with some rides there and take my bike and do a ride. But I've done rides in Mumbai, I've done rides in Rio, done rides in Delhi, all with people that I've managed to hook up with through things like Strava, and then sometimes I keep in touch with them, and RGT is great for something like that, to be able to hook up with people from all around the world. And I'm sure if I ever went to some of these places, I would be able to meet up with people from different parts of the world if I'm there with my bike or without my bike. But yeah, it's one of the great things about this virtual world of cycling. So only a few riders left. We've got Conrad Venter there, keeping a good pace. Oh, Sang hunting down. This could be a battle for 49th spot. Sang is putting in 3 watts per kilo, chasing Venter. We've got 200 meters to go. I think Sang is going to take over from Venter in 49. Oh, yep, there we go. Sang one of the female riders, Carol Sang, is in putting in a good effort there to take over from Venter, who has given up, has eased back to 0.51 watts per kilo, as Carol Sang there puts in 3-4 watts to make sure that she takes that precious spot ahead eventer there. So well done to Carol, who's done what was it? Well, yeah, done a couple of rides before and done quite well, but not done so many. Would have been further up in the rankings had she been able to do more of the ride. So Conrad Benter there now in 50th spot, being well, not exactly rolled in line, but having his pocket picked by Carol Sang there, and will cross in 50th place with one rider still out on course. Here we go. Paulina Leo. Trying to work out whether that is actually meaning. So sometimes people, say something in their name to describe, but not anything I'm familiar with. So Paulina Leo there, going steadily up. Nice 2 watts per kilo. Got Fermin. Try and roll my R there. Fermin Paulina Leo with the Spanish flag. Steady 200 watts. We'll keep it going. Less than 500 meters remaining. So we'll start to wrap up as we watch Fermin come to the line. Yeah, as I said, it's the last of the Friday Frenzies. No doubt there will be more if we can get any details on that. Well, look on ZMS Facebook page, look on the RGT Cycling Users, and you will get all the details of the races still to come. As I say, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter. ZMS does lots and lots of live streams of RGT cycling and other things. Yep, West London VR races every other Wednesday. There is there's the new TTT series, Love TTT. There it is, coming up on January 30th. It's an OTR event. It's a slightly different format to some of the TTTs that we've seen, where teams are effectively put into little brackets and race against each other to get promoted and relegated, and then there'll be a finale. So it's an interesting format to come forward that Jim Ogilvie and I guess Paul Nichols have put together. So ZMS will be streaming some of the Love TTT events starting, January 30th, so they've actually started. So this must be the first week of the Love TTT. So look out for some of those. They're events that people can do at any time during the week, so they can be broadcast at any time or watched at any time. Yeah, I know Damon's been putting out. You see there, if you want to do commentary. So yeah, Damon put up a little post during the week with me and Dave Morrison, Derek Bucock, some of the other commentators who work on the ZMS live streams. If you think you fancy doing some commentary, then get in touch with Damon through the Facebook page. It's yeah, I don't know what you need. I don't know. I mean, I did one on the weekend where it was 2 hours long, so it certainly helps to be able to talk for a long period of time, hopefully with some modicum of common sense. It does make me feel a little bit better disposed to some of the cycling commentators who I get very frustrated with. I won't name names, but some of the cycling commentators during the Tour de France just wind me up no end. But they're on air for 6 hours, but they do tend to do it in shifts, and they have co-commentators, a luxury that we don't have on ZMS. But we try to make it interesting. We hope you appreciate it. And of course, Damon's always trying to make it interesting with the fantastic coverage here with multi-cameras, aerial shots, all sorts of things to liven up the RGT races, which are always great events. And we've seen some great racing in this series as Fermin Paulina Leo crosses the line in 51st and final place. Well done, Fermin. So there we are with the aerial shot of toys, not looking a lot different to what it does in real life. I think those are ZMS live cameras still out on screen. So thanks for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed all the races. And we hope you continue to enjoy ZMS live streams, and see you again soon. Have a great weekend.